Ice height. This is a custom Lingo map that I made that mocks the entire custom color community, but I haven't yet done a video on all of the different memes that this map is doing, and so I thought it's finally time. This map has also inspired some maps with the exact same pronunciation, such as eyesight, 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 and eyesight, 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 eyesight. Unfortunately, this video has a massive amount of intro before I even start going into this map for real, but just a warning, if you're actually playing it, there are a lot of intentionally unfair puzzles around the custom color area, because that's just part of the meme. Alright, let's pretend the video just started and get into the deep lore. Lingo is an open world rule discovery word puzzle game that I've loved for a long time and have made many custom maps and videos on it. However, there's a problem in this community. That is the custom color epidemic. So this game originally only had one level, and now the game has like 7 secret levels. But back then, level 2 was a thing that was in development. Now, obviously, spoilers for the game, but this game is about looking at colored blocks with panels on them and figuring out patterns in what the blocks do. Like, the game never tells you that the red block does this operation of removing letters. You have to figure it out by spotting the pattern, and there's different colors that do different things. So when Lingo Level 2 introduces a new color, like, this is not part of Lingo Level 1, the original base game. So that's why the first few maps that ever got made did not try to invent tons of custom colors, because of the high chance they would be stepping on Lingo Level 2's toes, and overlap, basically. For example, in Highland, a lot of extra symbols were added, different rule interpretations, the use of gray. There was also some interpretation of orange that wasn't in the main game. Let's lock behind this blocked door. And Duolingo did a lot of creative things with gray. There were not many gray panels in the original game, and this expanded the vibes that gray got. Also, this chain was like the best puzzle on the map. Anyway, after the release of Lingo Level 2, new custom colors got spammed in of questionable quality. It's like first come, first serve, similar to domain names, colonization. Now, some are good, like tea green, which is the mechanic from Greenland, made into a block color. This video will not be spoiling green tea. That's this video's job. However, one of the new colors was this, which gives you a shockingly low amount of information about the word, and even after you get the full rule of it, you still have less info compared to other colors. Meanwhile, cyan almost does the same thing in terms of the info it gives, but at least the way it does it is very unique. Even though it also doesn't give very much information, it is possible to make good puzzles with these. But they often require another puzzle, and then the cyan is like the support color, which is not a good sign for the quality of the color. Okay, so I have about 6 minutes of footage from like a year ago where I talk about some of these first created custom colors and how this color was so much of a spaghetti fest. Man, the creator of this color is still watching my videos and chats in my community sometimes. Should I really be memeing this hard? Whatever. Play the freaking footage. Chaos theory. With fantastic puzzles. What joke? Am I a joke to you? This map has a lot of spam. Welcome to Lingo Level 0. Here we have the not nerd, the representation of the designer. Oh, I didn't say what not nerd was? It's Brenton, but reversed. So, there's a new color, Cobalt. Now, if you know anything about Lingo, Lingo loves the word reuse, but that doesn't explain what Cobalt is. So, I wonder if these remind you of anything. So, although Brenton did not invent this color, it was actually Brown Centric running. Anyway, I'm just going to tell you what this mechanic is. So, this reminds you, well, this should remind you if you've played L1 at all, of the entry room. So we have like type this. So it kind of feels like purple, right? Replace letters. Isn't that just purple? Well, you'll see. So there's no other centers in here, no more middles. So Cobalt top is replacing sounds, kind of. So we have high there. So as you can see, this is not middle-esque. Mame, rhyme. Actually, don't remember. Same. There we go. Right. Oh my gosh, that's great. Okay, I'll give you the full rule for Cobalt now. It's Co-Battle Advanced. But yeah, the rule is replace exactly one. So this is actually a really useful mechanic to have. So what does it mean for the bottom ones? Don't worry, the creator doesn't really know either. The creator 96 IQ'd those ones. Another custom color is Plum. Now, of course, we open this with open, but I wonder what the operation is here. Clearly, we have open kind of in here, but we also have way too many letters. Better not remove the wrong letters for that one. Okay, so, try to figure this out. I think the easiest one to look at is this one, probably. Okay, so I'm going to put it in here. It's type. Well, isn't that familiar? So... Okay, so... I actually bring this up because I think like the original map that introduced Plum didn't introduce it very well. It was okay, but... Okay, so I'm just going to say part of the mechanic here. We have some duplicate removal. It is a middle, so we're going to do there. So TR is clearly removed. It is a duplicate. Now, the thing is, how is this different than just red? Well, I. This would be duplicate removal of sounds. That doesn't really work. There's only I. However, if you might notice the pattern here, these are the same answers we did in the co-battle room, so it's high. Now, the middles probably don't show this well off either, so I'm going to do a little more of the top puzzles, but right, tight, that's right. Ace, maim, that is same. I'll leave these to you, because they're such a mess. It's actually a mechanic that is in the process of being retconned by other people. Okay, so you see I can go into high, right? So we're going to add sounds, too. I was like, I shouldn't have had add on this. It's add sounds, it's just add. But, yeah. And we have these outside. This kinpin, this... Okay, what is the answer? I feel like it's very obvious. Just look around, it's pink. And then C or... Okay, so S-E-R-O. Okay, so if it was just removing duplicates and the potential of adding letters, this doesn't work. So there's actually like another step here. So it's rows. This is why the mechanic is being retconned. It is a complicated as hell change. This is the real description of the mechanic. This is what happens when you make other people make custom mechanic. This one, shied. What the hell is that? The thing is, anagrams are tough enough. Blue is also tough enough. The duplicate removal is a cool operation, though. It's... Okay, the answer to this one, by the way, is reddish. I mean, okay, it helps that it's a theme thing, but still. This is why there has been a retconning of the mechanic in some maps, where it's make it work with only letters in the prompt. This puzzle happens to make that work, because it's only removing duplicates and then rearranging. So, for example, these sorts of transformations could be possible, where you only use the letters in the prompt, which I think is a cool idea. Oh, did I mention the map is multiplayer? Chess Battle Advanced. You know, I didn't mention what Plum Bottom was. The reason is because there is a theme to Plum. I know I gave it a complicated mechanical description, but the whole point is actually, it was always designed to actually be about relation, which is kind of cursed because that is the most generic possible thing. But it comes from Plum Bottom as a same category mechanic. Now, that does have useful properties. Like, for example, this puzzle is cloth, metal, and wood. And you need to get enthusiastic. This is a middle purple, which means to replace letters. So either you start like nth, and it's similar to a metal cloth or whatever, or astic. Like it ends in astic. So the answer is it's plastic. So you can see how that's related. Like metal's kind of like plastic, and then it's like a material, cloth, all those are materials. So why is this kind of silly that Plum Bottom exists? It's because Lingo Level 2 why would you be watching this if you haven't watched my Lingo Level 2 video? Well, it's because Lime Bottom, that chains into Magenta Bottom, does the same thing. It goes into a super category, then down into a subcategory, which is now in the official game. Plum is just not that efficient of a new color. I never covered cyan in that old footage. Whatever, we'll get to that. Okay, it's time to get into the map. For real. Now, colors are only one half of this game's mechanics, because we also have heights, which means there were also people trying to come up with 4 height mechanics and weird stuff like that. Also, like floor height mechanics. So, in fact, in my Isley Palace map, I created middle top and middle bottom, which I am completely satisfied with. And they work very well, like thematically as well, as being in between 2 different heights. Now for white, the mid-bottom for white wouldn't really look like anything different. It's just the same glyphs, so it would solve to high. However, someone reinvented height 4, probably independently, to also mean the same thing. Oh, that's not what it is in this map. But the point is that I got credit for height 4 somehow, despite never doing anything with the mechanic until this map. And it was called Super Top. Now, there was an alternative, more meta Super Top mechanic that I also got credit for, and I didn't even make. In fact, I don't think that's in a real map yet. Or ever. In fact, in Christopher Suavier's White Baba U map, there is actually a 4 height, and it's another interpretation of meta where a 4 height block can make Baba is you like rules. But basically, it's so hard to make a good height rule past the base game's 3 because it covers like pretty much all ways you refer to a word and needs to work well with like every color. So the question then is, what the hell is this map's height for? Well, some glitch guy managed to predict what this was before the map even freaking released. But if you still, like, don't know, there is this high, hello, higher, higher, higher. Wait, this is height 5. Wonder what this could be. Just in case I added another text there, it's so hard to see, but it says higher, 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 higher. Okay, there's a floor, by the way. Hello. You know, considering this is above, like, the highs are basically sweet floating in the void. So what height are these? Indeterminate or infinite? Well, we're just gonna pretend like it's like 0, -1, or whatever. And the answer, once again, you can just check this. What does that say? It says helloer. Anyway, now this fantastic new height mechanic has been revealed, the rest of the map has basically opened up. There is basically, this is a mid-top tutorial. This is a mechanic I really did not show off well enough in Palace. So, like, top is pronunciation-based and middle is letter-based, so that is why the thematic for this is the pronunciation of each letter. So, B-U-T, I-C-Y. And then for stuff like this is a red mid-top. A regular top would just be, 10. So we remove sounds from 10 to get a different word that means a type of clothing. However, because you sound out each letter, well, I guess letters would fit here. You say instead 1 0. 1 0. 1 0. There we go. And now 30. Except it's not 30, it's 3-0. 3-0. This is also a brown-black. The mechanic is still so weird to annotate the proper vibes here, but like it's something that came before 2048. At this point, this is like a 10-year-old reference to a viral at the time game called 2048, which was seemingly very inspired by Threes, which was far less popular. Anyway, this means the answer is Threes. Anyway, this place is more of a side tangent, but there is an issue where I tried to mislead with a future joke of this map by having the answers, like, in here, in an indirect way, like, isn't it beautiful? And it's like beauty, like, I-C-Y, and you have C-Y-I, but, like, it's completely pointless, and I shouldn't actually have done it like that. The text being sus genuinely means nothing, but the fact that I had this mislead idea and thought it was a good idea to put in this map actually became an inspiration for a completely different map. But the text being sus genuinely means nothing. Anyway, let's get back in on subject. Don't you love these new height mechanics? I expect to see them all over Discord lingo after this map's release. So now you can see the lobby with all this stuff. stuff on the ceiling. Rules are consistent like my upload schedule, and also the testers list. There's only like 3 actual testers for this map. And I have rudely thrown in a bunch of other stupid names on top. Why do I need this many testers anyway? I mean, the thing is, this actually is a reference to some early custom apps that had like 17 testers. Like, at some point, it's not really testing. You just like to be DM'd a lot. Anyway, you can see that, well, you need to solve ice height, which, by the way, confused people. Like, I don't think I even need to, I don't think I even need to have that text, because this only shows up. Anyway, this is a little dumb, but we are, in fact, locked from going there. Tip, this map will delete your save files, so back up everything. Back up your save file, back up your bad fanfic, back up your color ideas, back up your maps. Wait, they're already gone. So this tip is going to be very, very important throughout the whole map, actually. But also, there's another joke associated with this, which is that technically, like, the custom maps in this game are just using the same editor that the developer used to make the main game. So it can have all sorts of other scripts in it as well, which means there was freaking virus paranoia, and the creator had to be like, the creator of the main game had to, of course, say, you're not allowed to put malicious scripts that could delete your save files. But there's no rule of a map saying it will delete your save files, but not actually doing it. So here it is. There's like multiple people who have to ask, hey, is this a malicious map? Which is excellent. And so this really does a whole lot at once. Anyway, we also have this guest puzzle by this glitch person, which is at 1.5 height. Except, people complained that it wasn't actually, like, 1/2. I mean, one... The 0 indexing heights are getting me. Okay, screw this. An actual 5th height would be, like, barely poking out of the floor, but there was a really good reason I could not do that. Anyway, too many new colors. Here is the main meat of the map. Too many new colors. Before Lingo Level 2, map makers not spam new colors to prevent overlap with it, but now people are farming credit with limited use case colors, leaving the creator of Lingo with no more colors left for Lingo Level 3. I'm pretty sure that this custom color epidemic is like, it's like maybe 50% of the reason. I'm just like speculating, of course, like the creator of Lingo is doing other projects as well and making and it was making other side maps. But surely the fact that Brendan has like no possible colors left to use is not a good sign. Like, there were some discussions where Brenton says, oh, I'm just going to use cyan and brass and ignore the custom color meanings, which only gets worse and worse after time as people use more custom mechanics, and then it looks even worse if a canonical, so-called canonical color is going to overlap it. So, this is why Brenton made a big mistake by not threatening the custom color community with a Lingo level 3 to reserve some colors. I mean, at this point, there's literally so many custom colors, you literally cannot distinguish them. Even in the Lingopia trash dump, we have tea green, not tea green. Navy, not navy. Brown, not brown. Avocado, not avocado. Neither of these look like avocado. Maybe that's what an avocado looks like after eating too much food. Fake brown strikes again. Now, even though this is a custom color community mocking map, there are some jokes on Britain, and one of these is this. I don't think turning this into pipes will fix this puzzle at all. This puzzle is what happens when you bring your Discord Lingo puzzle that no one can solve into the game. And it's literally unsolvable. So what is this making fun of? This puzzle in Lingo Level 1, which was originally a custom puzzle, like the creator of the game put it in this Discord Lingo custom channel before it actually got put in the game, but no one could solve it back then. Not even in that channel, so it got poured into the game so that people had to solve it. But there was a good reason why people couldn't solve it, and it was made worse by these pillars, which weren't even well established in the game, the actual game at all, which is not even to mention the fact this is a 5-step chain. Now, if you look at the back of this puzzle, panels have been added to explain, or like, no, not explain really, allow you to check the mid-step of the answers, but even after that, it was not clear to players this is a chain, and there's like a single digit number of puzzles that use this pillar annotation, which actually means no effect, but like you could think it means something else because white top and white bottom have meanings. It's and also like the mid steps of the blue are actually pretty cool. But anyway, this puzzle is just iconic in Lingo now. Even though it's not really for the puzzle specific reasons. Another joke is Brenton will get questions about what triple exclamation means for all time. And this is the triple exclamation mechanic. It's used in a single puzzle in Lingo level 1. So of course no one really knows what it means, and the triple exclamation does not make it obvious at all what it is. I think I'll just solve this puzzle. I mean, the first step is that this black middle is to reverse the letters of open, so you get NAPO, and then you have to add letters to this, so the word is nepotism. And the thing that it means is that this is a non-word. The first step in this chain ends in a non-word, which is not true for like the other chains in the game. So like, of course, the freaking indicator is only used once, so of course people are going to ask questions. However, in Lingo level 2, it was used more often, and maybe it's a bit more accessible now, but another problem with it is that it doesn't really mean much. You can just not understand it, and you often don't have to feel the loss in information that you don't get it. In the Ice Sleep House, I had a non-word room, where I just wrote non-word in it. But although it's not really that, because like it's cut off badly, and you'll notice that these are actually zeros and not O's, because if they're O's, the cutoff is even worse. Yes, there is sizing of text spaghetti. I think the W is too long. I don't know. And like somehow it don't even cause this. Anyway, let's get to the colors. So, hey, I didn't even mention dark gray. What is... Oh yeah, this was another one of the very first stupid custom colors that people made. It's basically cursed leaked letters to numbers, cursed representations. Like this is actually chess BA. Man, this mechanic sucks. Alright, who made this garbage? Oh. Wait, I can explain. Well, actually, no, I really can't. There's some, like, number puzzles that use this in order to get a real word out of it at the very end. But, like, yes, I guess there's some fun rule discovery, like, you don't immediately know that this is the mechanic of dark gray. But there's no top and there's no bottom for this color. There were some fan-made attempts for dark gray, but I don't think they actually ended up being good. The sole reason this exists is for a puzzle that involves the orange-blue checkerboards, and I needed this to spell a real word. Do I spell? I'll just show this puzzle. So, this orange middle is a cipher. If this was just an orange middle with 80 as the clue, the answer would be UT. Now, the blue middle checkerboard means that you add the UT onto the 80 that already exists, and then if you interpret this by its looks, it looks like the word bout. So that is the reason this exists. Now, at least I had the decency to use such a generic color. I did do that on purpose, to not take an actual hue color, because I knew it was limited in what it was. However, this mechanic is even worse than that, because, and I only realized this like a year and a couple months after making the map, and then Christopher Suave mocked me on it. So remember when I talked about white mid-bottom, which was the same glyphs? But of course it doesn't mean anything. The same glyphs will basically always look the same, unless somehow you have something that literally looks exactly the same but you type it differently, which is just not a thing in this font, but could be a thing in some other fonts. That's why mid-bottom showed up as other colors, like red mid-bottom, where you remove parts of this. Like this is an equal sign, and to remove a part of it, you can get a dash by removing, you know, either a dash or this percent sign, and removing part of that, you can type in a slash, which is a part of that percent sign. Then separately, I had a squiggle mechanic, which has terrorized this game, but it's like an approximator. Like, it's not quite unlock, but it kind of sounds similar enough. And this allows for some cursed pronunciation puzzles. Here's the problem. If you have squiggles, that gives you approximately same glyphs, which is the same mechanic as dark gray. Oh no, actually, you know that means you invented the idea of unnecessary new colors. Let's distract ourselves from that by talking about Plum again. So, One of the upsides of Plum, if you could even say that, is that the clue word, because it gives so little information, this entire block, the clue word can be in anything you want a lot of the time. Now, it's intended that it's unfair to solve, but people don't freaking solve these. I don't know why they bother. Well, I do know. It's because usually maps are very reasonable about being able to solve puzzles, and this one is not, and I really didn't communicate that well enough, and I haven't fixed it by saying it's unsolved because the map is so memey anyway. So let's actually solve them. So advanced, something kind of similar to the rank advanced. Battle. I don't need to explain. If you watch the Chaos Theory portion, you should know. But yes, it's like you can just feel how much of an excuse the thematics of Plum are as well. When you see the top chain looks absolutely nothing like the bottom. I think the creator of Plum even mentioned that the bottom, like the freaking bottom was the first that was invented, which is even, it's ridiculous because it's a thing that the base game can already recreate. And then the middle and the top editions were added later to have some vague conception of, oh, it's related to the clue. Ha. Okay, so here it's the unfair one where things can be rearranged, but also you can just add letters to it after. So the answer here is cashiers. Some people have actually brute forced that, and yeah, there you go. Now, of course, this is not actually a fair reading of Plum, because technically the step where you delete duplicate letters isn't a color. However, there is a joke color hidden in here, Void, which was invented by the creator of Salmo. Now, it also has an anagrindy part of the mechanic, so it's a dumb mechanic too, but at least it's clearly a joke in that map. In fact, like, this color could always only be a joke because it looks so similar to normal black. Like, you can barely tell the difference. The only difference is that this is not reflective. So it does actually look distinct from black because it doesn't shine, but anyway. We will also get to cyan here. Now, cyan, I didn't explain in the previous part, so I'll explain what the mechanic is. Actually, going back to the Lingonberry tutorial for this. So here's a cyan. It's a middle, so it'll be letter-based, and clearly there are letters of the alphabet, and some are missing. What are missing is H, I, O, W, and T, and U. Now, let me just rearrange some of these in a way. This W, let's move it there. This ending kind of looks like O-U-T, so let's do that. And how about this H and the I can also swap. In fact, this looks like the word without. We also have these double-sided, so if it's without... Okay, I feel like you can immediately see the problem. Okay, I need to explain the mechanic first. It's about excluding. And it's middle, so exclude letters. So, well, more specifically, make a word without using any of the given letters. So that's why you get without, because the letters that are not in the clue are the ones that you can use for the answer. So, like, it's cool that the way this goes, like with the clue word, is so unique. It definitely has very distinctive patterns for what the clue words look like, because there's these overly long words that contain unfrequent letters like Q and Z. To exclude them, the problem, of course, is this is no different from a regular anagram or Plum at the very end of the day. Like, it's like, okay, you can use duplicates, so like it's a letter bank, but why not just show the available letters instead of letters you can't use? And now we gotta like look at all of this and manually figure out which letters haven't been used. Like, I think the most ridiculous part is that yellows were already, especially long yellows, and anagrams in general, even if you never played this game, you know that anagrams and anagrinds are already not easy. So it's like a harder version of an already hard and kind of annoying clue. Now, cyan bottom is excluding conceptually, and this does actually have some cool things. Like, it can deny very specific answers, which is a cool vibe. So here, you should see that I could say robe as part of the anagram of the yellow middle above. But robe is too similar to dress conceptually. So that doesn't work. We need a word like boar, which has no relation to dress. And cato, buttered cat, is also here. And here, coat is bad. That is too close to dress as well, clearly. So we need taco. Now, cyan middles, along with pronunciation, is kind of cool. Like, here's require. This is a top red. So we need to remove sounds off. Require. But it can't contain W, A, N, or T. Now, here's kind of a curse thing is like, what the hell? The T sound doesn't even come from anywhere. So I actually think this is flawed. Like, what words are even being denied by the cyan here? I don't actually know. But at least this is a cool vibe of like, oh, I can't have these letter representations of these sounds. Answer is cool as well because it doesn't look anything like the clue word. It starts with a C, and the answer is year. Choir. There we go. Also, there's a cyan top, which I think exclude phonemes is a better description here. So we have plenty, but we can't have any of the sounds in plenty, even though there's a P in the middle yellow. So that's an interesting question, right? Like, how do you get that P sound, which we know there's a P in the word, to not be the P? So, like, maybe? The S sound from plenty also can't be in here. It could also be, like, some words start with, like, psionic, and the P is silent. But here it's phase, and the E is silent here. So you can make good puzzle with this, but for some reason, these letter quick brown fox cyans are prevalent instead. Now, once again, these puzzles are not meant to be solved at this time, but I am going to do it just for the similar reveals to Plum here. No, nothing. So the answer to this one is omniscient. It's bottom black. It's an antonym now. So the meme of this one is that this was an actual map. Like, in the debut map of this color was a puzzle that was basically exactly this, and I thought this was so stupid. Your bottom cyan is literally a bottom black. This probably leads to some, I think it actually has led to pseudo-philosophical discussions. Like, for example, what is the exclusion, like the cyan mechanic, the most far away conceptually of, say, hate? Like, is it love? Or is it some obscure thing that isn't associated with hate, love, or anything at all, like swivel chair? The point of all that nonsense is it even fair to say that omniscient is a bottom cyan when it's in the same category of knowledge, basically? Anyway, custom map makers have solved this problem by not really using cyan bottom anymore. Lol anything I want. The phrase lol anything I want, this is a phrase that isn't my meme. This is from Chris Suavier's Duolingo, which made fun of purple for being lol anything I want. It's also a server sticker. This is because purple middle is about replacing letters, but it could be literally anywhere. Like, some map makers at least have it be a continuous region, and sometimes, like, it's more likely that it's either from the left or from the right side, but it could really do anything at all, including multiple replacements in different spaces, and that's just so awful. But this is completely unfair, but some people brute forced it, and if you do, it's like, especially if you look at the first letter, it's C. Ceiling. So it's a green middle, huh? C. Do you see it? Do you see the letters C in it? No? Well, this is a reference to a controversial Lingo Level 2 puzzle. So, first of all, there's this building here. And the thing that I want to point out, they're supposed to notice this, like, eventually, but not immediately, is that there's this green block that's suspiciously up there. Now, if you go in that area, entering this building, which has multiple floors, then look through this window in a very specific way, you see that. And, like, some people don't even have monitors. They can't even see that properly, I think. But yes, that is the ceiling. That is a green middle. It's the same one with the text ceiling and the answer C. And the ceiling is this. It's such a stretch. Ironically, one of the retcon rules that is now no longer a rule, but would have been perfect here, is if there was a top red block on top of that panel, because ceiling does in fact have the sound C in it. But now that rule is retcon, so that wouldn't even work. This will also get grooms because, like, no one is gonna look up. Anyway, next, poopy teaser. Wonder what has a poopy teaser. Yes, and the length also spoils it. And also, this is a valid top cyan. You do not see a phoneme that this shares with Chess Battle Advance. And no, the S doesn't count because the T's, it's Z rather than the chess. Very planned out. Anyway, surprise, it works as a magenta. Man, the subtitles for the magenta really... This isn't a Lingo level 2 color critiquing video, but magenta's top, middle, and bottom are more of a stretch compared to other colors, but it's pretty, like, subtle, but it'll probably make me regret subtitling that as subcategory. There's also a link here. It's a Discord channel message link. This leads to an old conversation where I basically invented the mechanic of cyan before the creator of cyan did it like 2 months later, but did extend it to top and bottom. And at the time I was making fun of purple for the lol anything I want quality to it. I do think overall Brenta did a really good job with magenta though. Anyway, oh yeah, we have to do this. Cobalt. Coesbaltal Advanced. This is honestly quite a good color. It's a very reasonable operation to do. It's to replace one. It's like a much more restricted purple. I would have complained that it uses this shiny blue color though, because shouldn't it use a shiny purple instead just to make it clear that it's like purple based, but you know, whatever. As much as you can think, oh yeah, something cool, what if some even cooler mechanic took this super shiny blue, right? But there's a shortage of super awesome T and Salmoni mechanics that exist, right? So anyway, replace one letter. Hey, what is that? No, it's not bottle, it's battle. Okay, so this is not just a purple joke. It's actually that there's a dot on top, which by the way is an inconsistency map that I freaking maybe I should fix. Usually that's a colon, but anyway, the joke with that, Isopath uses a dot mechanic to restrict purples. So you might not know what this does, like, as the first time you see it, but if you know what it does, and you know that the only affected replacements are happening at the left and right side of the word, and even if this is to length, the replacement word is. So you have erpol, and you need to think of a different word. The answer is surplus. So it's basically these freaking dots can do the same thing that Cobalt can do. So again, it's something I can pretend to take credit for. Although, like, jumping in order to see the middle is actually like such bad user experience that it's actually justified that this is its own color. As for this thing, well, you'll see. And here, enhanced. Well, that's clearly advanced. Squiggle, 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 squiggle. Welcome to Squiggle Land. This also unlocks this text, like, where, you know, the squiggle is really considered controversial. It definitely was, by the way. People did not like some of my squiggles and pronunciations. Also, though, another piece of lore, I literally forgot this piece of lore because it's so stupid. Everyone wants to forget it. But in the debut map of, the actual debut map of Cobalt, it was able to also remove and add one as well. Like, so, for example, a Cobalt bottle could turn into bottles. It's so stupid. Why would you add that ambiguity? Anyway, we did all that. Also, the redeemed by Pinkland part, I should mention that. So, like, yes, these mechanics are not the best thing ever made, but in the map Pinkland, if you don't want to get spoiled, I do have a video talking about the best Lingo custom mechanics that involves talking about Pink and Salmon. The way Pink and Salmon work can basically redeem any poopy color. So, like, for example, like, we got this Salmon puzzle. Google and Yahoo. So, clearly search engines, right? But, like, how do you call that? Like, what, engines? Like, so I guess I should mildly explain. Salmon is basically, like, creating a puzzle that can solve to both Google and Yahoo. So, Magenta search engine is actually a valid answer for this if it were not for the length. So, this is just an awesome answer. Remember that Plum can act as a thing that gets you from one related word to another. So, the answer is plumbing. I mean, I feel like that just redeems that freaking color. And you can use this word plum because that appears at the start of other words. Like, here, let's go Cubs and White Sox. So, sports teams, it's another plum. The word is plummets. Chess Battle Advance. Here's another great one. I think, like, here, so, remember what I said, like, what I pointed out about cyans freaking looking like this with all these Z's and uncommon symbols and way too long words? Well, it starts with cyan, and there's 3 more letters. And also, there's really not many words that would fit here that would make a different word. And just, like, scanning over, you can just, like, confirm the word is cyanide. And none of these contain I, D, or E. Anyway, so these don't even unlock this originality zone stuff. You need to do puzzles in the museum, but this unlocks this cursed emoji. Now, one flaw in this map is they didn't make clear, like, one of the foreshadowing big memes in it. One of which is, like, this doesn't do any mechanical thing. This looks horrible, this checkered block, but, like, it doesn't have its checkered mechanic. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and yes, indeed, I don't actually use it for any mechanical meaning. You're just supposed to look at cursed emoji and figure out what it is, and you do need to know the server of this game's community's emoji. So this started when a different custom map creator made this image and posted it with "God is dead," and this cursed checker killed it. So naturally, I took that image, stole it, invert colors, and posted that, to the horror of other people. What would this even do? New God Killer emoji. So the answer is the God Killer. And also, this had an awesome moment when a player who constantly uses this emoji didn't notice that it's the same colors, which was very nice. To get that nice eureka moment that everyone keeps talking about. Now, the next section of this map is the Modern Art Museum of Future Fan Colors. Museum organizers, whoever this guy is, and Chris Salveve. So, the thing is, this section used to not exist. Like, I did complete the entire rest of the map and all the planning for that. And then after a test session with Christopher Suavier, I realized there was the huge problem that required this area to be made. And I am so glad it got made because it's just, it extends the parody so much. It's actually required that this map has trashy, impossible seeming puzzles for a later reveal. Also, this future fan colors part, my gosh, there's been, like, Chris Suavier even, like, mentions me and was messaging me every time there was an actual fan color that happened to be the same as one of the stupid mechanics in this. It was insane how people managed to remake some of the worst mechanics in here. Now, I should have done something to make it more fair and more clear which of these colors were actually fair to solve. Right now we have Wasabi, which is one of the unfair ones. It should have had, like, something saying about how this mechanic is, like, really bad or something. Right now, all it does is mock domain-based maps, which is basically like a genre of map that got popular where it's like, the answers are all anime characters or something. Which is fun if you're aware of that subculture, and otherwise, just like a wordless reading adventure if you're not. But yeah, this is just bad. The joke with gray is that the creator, I mean, there's not even that much gray in the main game, and often it has vague association with the word that it's hinted at, so custom has been able to morph this meaning, and custom maps may have the height matter, even though it's supposedly a wildcard height, according to the main game creator. Let's look at some of the more fantastic mechanics. Olive. So I haven't played Lingo Level 2, but this is my first custom color. So with the bird being hinted here, like, a very logical thing to do would be, I don't know, bluebird. And this is quite bad because it's just magenta. It literally is the same mechanic as magenta, which, by the way, also got predicted. As for this, it's just a stupid reference. It just
Moon ore. You didn't finish the sentence. I said moon ore. Look at it right there. Moon ore with an E on the end. O-R-E.
There's absolutely no reason why the answer is or. Anyway, here we have lime. That is all. So lime is actually a Lingo level 2 color, and it's super category. But probably easier to explain is basically the clue is a type of the answer word. It's like categorical. So killer whale. So killer whale is a type of what? Well, a type of whale, right? Now if it's a middle, it becomes about a type of answer word instead, because middles are about words and letters and stuff. Now, line middles have basically really generic answers because they're about words. So what is it a type of? Well, it's like a type of English word. So that fills in the blank. And for top, which is about sound, the clue is the type of answer sound. So for example, moo is the type of cow sound. So now we have whistle. Well, this is kind of a joke because if you look, it starts with a W. It's the same length. A whistle is a type of whistle sound. So, now we have lime and fake lime. Yeah, this is fake lime. Didn't you know Lingo level 2 doesn't have real lime? It has fake lime. So this started because, like, this color, in, like, any other context, we would just call it green. But because green is this darker version, we're just like, oh, this is lime. Even though it doesn't even have much of a yellow hue. So here is lime. Now, another amazing thing with this is, this was at the point when people were still relying on the developer to support custom stuff by just adding the color into the actual game, so other people got to see this actual lime color. You can watch Salve try to answer this question. Then the creator goes, look what you made me do. Well, it wasn't to troll you, it was to do this in the map. And also to troll you. Hey, at least it does actually look different. Now, on the other hand, did you know that there's this pink color, but there's also a washed pink color that looks literally is exactly the same, and it got added. You can only tell the difference in the freaking colorblind pack. Great job, custom color inventors. Hope you enjoyed Salmon's Mesh Istas 11 mechanic. Now get ready for this new washed pink mechanic. Anyway, what we're talking about, this was also a mechanic that Salve made as a suggestion, because remember that Salve is one of the museum organizers. The rule is, it's like lime, but actual. Although I'm not even sure the execution is very good, but a killer whale, you need to probably search this nonsense, but it's actually a dolphin, not a whale. And Salaryman is not an English, I mean, we could have come up with some better ones, like karaoke in this spot, but it's a freaking Japanese word, because actual people who speak English don't call things, they don't call anyone salary man. And whistle, actually this one is completely unfair. Okay, on to some of the other stuff. Pastel Dark, this one is just trash. It's just trash. Also, it's a real mechanic elsewhere, but let's not talk about that. So countdown, like you might do like 9, or like even like probably you would do 5 first, like, but you see it's a number, so like it's 9 and like you see I mean, this is really easy. This is a good way to like farm points, but like farm puzzle solves. But yeah, it's not phonemes though, not phonemes. So that's too much to count. So like the reason is it's just counting the length of the things, and the bottoms are counting, oh, there's 12 inches in a foot. It's like such a unuseful color. There we go. Now sky blue, mechanically sky blue, but visually not so much. Now this is a real puzzle. I mean, it's not good, but it's consistent and works on all 3 heights. I do think it's interesting that this is a Lingo level 1 color, not like actually, but it's like one of the colors that was used for decoration, and I don't think it's been really made into a mechanic, at least not one that people use very much, and this one is way too niche to actually use. But here's the joke of mechanically sky blue. So what's blue? Blue is just like a really simple base game color, which means to add stuff. So like middle would add letters, but that's not really the point here. So what's sky blue? It's just add sky. And it's a middle, so add the letters sky to, there you go. And now Diz, well, it's not as obvious, but Diz sky doesn't work, but that kind of sounds like a different word that does work. Disguise. Sky is in here. Here we have jalapeno. Oh, great, another type of green. And guess what? This is another mechanic that this map predicted that someone would later go and reinvent. Now, I think there's like no way this is fair. It's barely fair. And although right now it's not, here's something funny, like right now it is 100% unfair, but when I'm done with the other colors, it will be fair. In fact, it's getting closer to fair at this very moment, but it wasn't like a couple seconds ago. Imagine that. What a troll thing to say. Anyway, here's Piss Yellow. So Brent's invention that Brent won't take credit for. So this is like the very first mesh instance in the game. Like mesh instance is what blocks are called in this, and this was like the first color ever made. It doesn't even have a number after it, like mesh instance 13 or whatever. And it was going to be yellow, like okay, new color ideas. Anyway, it was going to be like this yellow, but it looked too ugly, and then this different yellow, which is called Sunblock, was used instead. So now this thing is in the game, but it's like not actually used, even though it's the first block color, so that's why you're not going to see anyone take credit for this thing. And, in fact, well, the theme is rotation, as if that's a good theme anyway. Okay, so if you, like, go here, it's like the same number of letters as the clue as well, so natural this could be like lows, which is a good summary for this entire museum. Now, yellow is already rearranged, and similar to the sky blue, it's like closely related to the yellow in the main game. It's just, like, I'll literally just add one thing to this, and then you'll know what it is. It's literally a one thing. Although the rotation theme is a little bit forced, like 12 doesn't go to 13 or 11, it goes to 1 because clock. Now we're going to take tree and do the same thing. So the S moved to the back, and now we're going to move the ch at the sound of tree to the back. So tree, reach. Anyway, we have navy, and this is not a unique color in the sense that there's other maps that use navy, but it's not royal or anything. Is it obvious yet what this is? So let's show the first letter of some of these freaking things. I guess you can't do that for that. Okay, anyway, navy is not original to this map. Though the execution of it is, like, navy first comes from this map called Chaos Theory, which was the first collab map that ended up being a disaster. And fantastic mechanic. But, like, it's about translation of different languages is what navy is in this map. Basically forces everyone to use search engines. This navy is frustrating, but in a completely different way. So how about you take Tuesday, schedule, what This is British English to American English. So it really, in a way, it works just like the navy in that other map. This is also another one of Salve's colors, though I did the artist's touch of making it navy and, like, connecting it to the other navy mechanic. The red thing is supposed to look like the British flag, so I don't care. Anyway, the middle variant is just to un-British the word. So, I mean, color is more obvious. like, when actual British people play this is just amazing because I remember one of them taking a long time on this mechanic. I mean, of course, you see color and think it looks normal to you, and then spend way longer on than everyone else. Anyway, here we have torch, and if you're familiar with this, like, basically, the thing Brits call torch is what Americans call flashlight. So there you go. So I don't think this needs much explanation. Though the pound, maybe you could interpret that more ways, but the actual way is, there you go. I really don't want anyone to get stuck in the museum, so this gate opens after doing 22 puzzles, which is already open by now. But we should just continue to see more in the museum. Oh yeah, jalapeno this is now more fairly solvable. It's another type of green. Green's a huge hint here because while this is not green, the green environmental letters, there was something that was a huge hint to this, and it was over here. So this is what the high is here, and you're like, okay, there's the high. That's weird. We only see that one other place, and it's here. Well, if you remember Green's mechanic, if you had the clue right, then you would type high as the answer, because to the right is high. So this is just a crappy green, which is just a reverse panel. Like, it's not distinct from just a black-green checkerboard. And that just makes it all the more ridiculous that this freaking mechanic got implemented, like, prophetically by some random other person. Anyway, the others are not anything to write home about. Like jalapeno, well, I mean, can't, like, you could do this. That would be valid. It's a bottom as well, so you're not looking for letters. But the color itself is jalapeno, and to get that, you would do, it's like the top first letter is F, and like greens commonly also would say like forward or something. So this, who came with the idea of reverse panel and colonizing it? It's this is a joke on salmon. Kind of a silly example because like pink and salmon are indeed inverses of each other. They feel so different though, and like there's tons of main game mechanics that are inverses of each other and get different colors. Then it's like it's fine for thematics. So it's just a joke criticism, especially because pink has done like 4 different things that salmon cannot do in order to make it distinct. Anyway, a green top is a poop crappy mechanic, and basically it's just this. The block is silent, but like almost everything in this game is silent. Anyway, so Poland flag. But first, appreciate this abstract wall art. There's some maps with really cool decorations, so I really wanted to emulate that sort of thing in Ice Height. Hopefully I don't get a swarm of bot-generated comments, though. Anyway, Poland flag's not real, but anyway, it's because this mechanic, it's not really a new color. It's kind of a new, well, it's a new concept, but it's whether you can call this a new color is very okay. So let's get the first letter. If you want to solve it by watching the video or whatever. Okay, the mechanic, the joke is white same, red remove. Those are just the base colors of this. This is not like something new. It's just white and red. But in this case, like they've never been horizontally stacked, and that's never meant anything either. But if you stretch your imagination about what this could mean, how about we just like, does this now seem to spell anything to you? Yeah, so the word is vivid. And now, this thing that is a single letter I away from being sus. Unlimited parting. Can't spell. Okay. So now, for the bottoms, they are, like, I mean, a fraction. So, ignore the, like, remove the bottom part of the fraction. What's left? The numerator. Remove the bottom. I don't actually know how legit this puzzle is, to be honest, but you go and it's the word is frame. It's the frame of a car. Anyway, now this is like such a stretch. Like no one, I don't think anyone has said the mechanic justification for the top yet, but like try to say the word dig. Now, like, put your hand around your neck to feel that there's vibrations coming from dig. Now, try to say dig without those neck vibration sounds, which is, like, the bottom part of the sound. Tick. That's what it is. And now, jazz. 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 Chess battle advanced. Now let's head to the next part of the amazing museum. Although there is one color depression, a color of depression, no energy to put puzzles here. Rest in peace to side modifiers that could have prevented a lot of these colors. If only I went back in time and made a map with Earth's side modifier early on. Anyway, these 3 puzzles on the left are not, like, I had no idea how to hint them. I really don't have good hints for them because the joke is that the mechanic description is already in the map, but you probably just forgot it within the sea of other text. But this map does tell you elsewhere that what these mechanics do. Would like to appreciate the dark teal, like who comes up with these color names. That ended up also being a little bit prophetic because the freaking some avocado named fool called this avocado. It doesn't look anything like it. Anyway, we can head out, enjoy the amazing modern art, and next one, fuchsia. Theme, similar shape. So the theme is, like, obvious. I don't even, well, it's literally spelled out. And like the top one sucks too. It's just like it's just sky because I didn't have any better ideas. Although it is a puzzle that ended up being very easy to make. So this is similar to that dark gray color, but it's a little bit more. I don't know. It's a little bit more suspicious. It starts with D. It's ending with a real word. The joke is that this you can make it look. It's something that looks like DMDE. On second thought, maybe it's not obvious enough. So let's. What if I just, I don't know, divide this into the actual interpretation? All right, here we go. So then a pyramid is like it's such a bad mechanic. Which is why this mechanic was so liked it was recreated by others in the community. Well, and that someone made a map that's called Fuchsia and is used anyway. Apparently that mechanic is that good. White, black. You do remember what this does, right? So a quick recap. Hello, hi, hi, higher, higherer. So if top white is just Y, then height plus 1 is wire. Wire. Source. And top would just be source. Plus 1 height is sorcerer. Next is sorcerer. Fantastic mechanic. And now this is black. So, but also height 4. And black is about reversing the phoneme sound, so nah. Which I thought I thought I replaced that with this word by now, but anyway. Now the W is not like really pronounced, it's like nah. So the reverse is on. And then you do honor. Like you it's honor. You gotta love the silent H. And now drum, which is not really correct in sound, but like people are really bad at pronouncing things, so drum goes has glass rendering gotten even worse in the new update? Anyway, so just reverse the letters. Like the mechanic isn't even reversing letters; it's supposed to be reversing the sounds, but this is why it's not really correct. And then you add the er. Wow, fantastic. So also this unplayable chain that uses the Poland flag and the black reversal. This is genuinely solvable within the rules of the mechanics here, but it's just it's not that reasonable. But anyway, also there's a pipe mechanic. Like people didn't like this representation for chains where it was like 3 blocks and a pillar. So instead this pipe notation was made, but people aren't consistent with that either. So here's the thing though. This door meme comes from Palace and how every freaking checkerboard in this map was actually a door. It's not, I'm not even kidding. So like we didn't know how to make grid maps at the time that were a smaller size. So all the checkerboards are they're doors that don't open. So hope you like doors. Anyway, we got this. Like, so I'll explain what this is. I feel like no one knows or cares. It doesn't matter like what this is, but this is just supposed to be representing how blocks over 3 height work out. Like, just but in a way that's like kind of intentionally confusing. And each blue represents an so why didn't I have the ER text here? I don't know. Here's ice, which is another Salve mechanic interpretation. And once again, kind of hinted by the map, but not even very well. Gotta say, though, the texture is very nice on it. This is actually an excellent mechanic, and Salve even says, like, this was kindly donated off something in Luodongo, which is a different map. We also have this. Pick a number. And I've seen people do, like, 1, 2, 3... I couldn't make this work. Instead, what you get is... Yeah, it's a working elevator in Longo. Isn't that great? Thanks, Salve, for this. Okay, so this also isn't my code. Like, what, you think I'm an actual programmer? But, like, another amazing thing is, well, this doesn't have floors higher than 11. Actually, really good reason for that. But also Salve, like, probably intended this elevator to get used in, like, literally any other context, like a more normal context. I, but in mine, the fact that the elevator's doors open here, like, it is completely useless. And it's a huge mockery of all that effort for the doors. Also, this elevator has some secrets. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to, like, it doesn't, you can't really do this, and it's not, it doesn't, like, put you down into the earth depth or whatever. This video's gone insanely long for how I'm barely, like, I don't know, a third done with this map. Probably not even going to explain this or the left mechanics at the moment, but I did say this map was hiding a huge secret about it, and, like, one of the hints towards that, or if you can even call it that, I don't know, this is just ridiculous, but type Boovin in the elevator. Yes, there's a good reason for that. Anyway, this map has quite a lot going on in it, like a lot of meme rooms, a lot of unlocks, and chess battle advanced. Speaking of that, how come all these trash dumps start with CBA? Like, why are there so many more CBAs than all the other? Anyway, this video's gone so long. I there's I want to make a part two, like, well, more for like documenting this entire map, because, like, you know that, like, customs in every game are obscure stuff, but I just CBA to, like, go over the whole map. Right? I don't even know how well this video is going to perform. Part two would start off with, like, these glass blocks, and yeah, anyway, bye.